have time to see how many of you are here. I see Surta, Laura, Senka, Simi, Amy, let me see, Kylie, nice to see you, and Corey, who are alumni from Palma, and Melissa, who is my colleague from CIE, okay? So here we are, finally. I think I'm gonna have to hit recording now. Oh, it's already recording, okay. So let me start introducing myself. I'm Antonia, not good with technology, as you can see. And I'm here with you to talk to you a little bit about our program in Palma de Mallorca in Spain. And this is a program specializing in marine environmental studies, marine biology. And I'm going to be here with you today. Let me just explain a little bit how this will work. I'm going to talk for a very short time, about 10 minutes, just a little bit about Palma. And the idea here is also that you can see that other people are applying for the program, connecting through this, but also that you get to know two of our most wonderful alumni who work here in Palma. And interestingly enough, Melissa was also here. She was chaperoning students last summer. So it's a big event for us now, having all these coming back people with us, okay? I would like to ask you to, I think you already did, but to add your name in the chat, so then I know who is talking and who is asking questions. And also remember that you can ask questions in the chat, but since it's going to be a very short presentation, we will have a long time Q&A, okay? And also we will have time to ask questions for Corey and for Kylie as well. So this is who we are in Palma. I'm Antonia, I'm the center director. And we have Hannah, who I don't know if she will be able to join us because she's studying during the winter design. And I think she might be able to arrive or not. She told me she will try. Bea is our instructor, the biology instructor, and Tanya is our language instructor. So during the summer, the four of us, you're going to see a lot in Palma. And we also have our program leaders, two of them. I think they might return this coming summer, so I put them here down on the screen, so just so you know that we have two program leaders. Let me tell you, we have a ratio of one adult every 10 students in the program. So you really get to connect really well with the program leaders. The program leaders are very important because they are all not only the cultural bridge between the local staff and the teachers and you, the students, but they also are the person who spends most of the time with you for cultural activities, excursions, and everything. So here you have our two alumni joining us today. I hope they like the pictures I chose of them. They are the two of them in Mallorca. One of them is on a mountain during a field trip, and the other one is on a boat coming back from another excursion that we did, to a hiking excursion that we did to the beach. Okay, in a moment I will, actually not, if maybe I can just unmute the two of you and you can just do a short introduction, okay? So I'm going to unmute. Let me see how I do this, because I thought it was super easy, but I don't know. I should be able to unmute. Oh, there you go. Corey.
Yep. Is my volume okay?
Yes, the sound is perfect. Can you just share a little bit with who you are and everything?
All right. So I'm Corey. I was on the program last summer, and I'm currently a senior at high school. First of all, I wanted to say that, the program, oh, sorry, I'm in school right now, so there's a lot of background noise. Can Kylie go first?
We can hear you really well.
You sure? Okay. So, me personally, before the program, I've never flown out of the country. I've never really left it. And after the program, yeah, can Kylie go first? Because the reception's really bad on my end.
Yeah, okay, so let's do it later. Corey, don't worry, no problem. Maybe Kali can just do it. Kali, I think you need to unmute yourself because I already unmute you. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There's background noise also. But I'm Kylie. I'm a senior in high school. I also went to the program that just passed so this past summer. It was a really fun program. I liked my program leader and all the students. It was really fun. It was a really long flight. I've flown in a plane before, but never like a really long flight. It's okay. But yeah, this trip was really fun. I don't know what else to say,
Kylie,
Antonio.
where are you from? Which school you study?
Oh, I'm from Houston, Texas, so it was really cool also to meet like a bunch of other students from other like states. That was really cool. There were a lot from like New York and California. Um, and I go to an early college and what else, Antonio? Sorry.
Okay, no, that's enough because we will have an opportunity to answer questions later, Kylie, and I will
Okay.
ask you to share something maybe about your experience with the homestay or something later. So that's perfect. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you. Okay, so let's keep going. Just to let you know that we have an Instagram account and that you can follow us. And if you go to the Instagram account, you will be able to see day by day what we did last summer. So I think it's actually our best presentation because it's real day-to-day activities that we were doing, okay? So the address is at CIE Palma. So what are the reasons to come to Palma? And this, I had to think a lot, okay? Because I was like, oh, okay. So first of all, I think it's the people. I think Corey and Kylie will share with you the same idea, no? That the homestays, the teachers, the staff, I mean, the warmth, this is part of our personality here in one of our characteristics of the islanders, no? We are very welcoming. Also, I think this is the best location to study what we study, which is marine biology, because we are in a setting where we have, as you will see in a moment, national park, natural parks, and all kinds of nature that we can explore. But at the same time, it's a very old island, and we have remains from the Roman times. We have Gothic architecture from the Middle Ages. So the whole village is kind of like a thematic Gothic Middle Ages park, okay? So at the same time, we have like this nature and history. And then, of course, the opportunity to learn or improve or start learning the Spanish language, okay? And these are some of the highlights that I think some of my students usually tell me these are the things they are more impressed about. I told you already about the homestays, the fact that Palma is very monumental. As you can see here, we have a picture of the cathedral, and some of the students from past summer in front of during a tour that we did. This is a Gothic cathedral from the Middle Ages. We also have a castle on the hill. We have a very old city center, museums, but also, as I told you, this other side, the nature, the parks. We have the only maritime national park in Spain, which is Cabrera, is one of the best preserved areas of the Mediterranean. So as you can imagine, it's pretty amazing for nature observation. We also have Dragonera, is another island that we visit. Llevan Natural Park. Albufera is a place to observe birds that we also visit. Tramontana is a cultural heritage world site. So as you can see, I mean, many places that we will be visiting. Another highlight of Palma is that we love sports and we are very outdoors. So some people say, oh, when you go to Spain, don't go running around because they will think you're crazy. No, not in Palma. You do jogging in the street and everybody's doing it. It's like a natural thing for us, no? Kayaking, sailing, trekking, swimming, softball, biking. Actually, all of these you will be able to do because these are some of the activities we do. And at the same time, it's a very safe city, very easy to walk around. I'm sure Melissa will agree. She was with us last summer. No, it's a place that you just walk around and you find your way. The longest distance from one place to the other walking in Palma is never more than half an hour, okay? And food, Mediterranean diet, no? We love ice cream at the same time, don't worry, but we love natural food cooked by the homestays at home, fresh pasta, fresh salad, fish, meat, cook on the moment, right? So Palma, I think I already told you a little bit about it. It's the biggest of the Balearic Islands. We have 5 major islands of Balearic Islands, but this is the biggest one. Is the capital, Palma. It's about 400,000 inhabitants. They say that in the summer we are more than 500,000 because of so many tourists arriving into the island. It's a top tourist destination since the 1950s. So if you come here, no matter who you are, which color you are, which way you dress, Mallorca is so diverse because of being people from all over the world coming to Mallorca, no? So in that way, we are a very diverse island. At the same time, we're very local. We go to a cafeteria and they know us because we went twice. So they are like, oh, hi, you're the person who came yesterday, no? So we have like this provincial way also of living in the island. And well, it's known, as I told you, because of the mountains, the beaches. In the summer, we go to the beach. In the winter, we go hiking. I already started my hiking season 2 weeks ago. So this is hiking period, okay? This is something that we like to do with the students, even in the summer, if it's hot, because we know hiking is important in Mallorca. And then to let you know that we are inside of the University of the Balearic Islands. So we are on a university building in downtown, very walking distance from everywhere. From the main square is 10 minutes from I mean, it's very, very centric, very near the homestays. And just a curiosity that you might not know, we speak 2 languages in Mallorca. Apart from my raw English, we speak Spanish and we speak Catalan as well, okay? So how is a typical day? How is the program? Just to give you a very fast overview, you will have breakfast with your homestay at home. And then depending on the day of the week, because this is a very special program, we have a lot of field work. We have 3 or 4 days of the week that you have the morning in the classroom. And then in the afternoon, you have a cultural activity with your small group and the program leader. But then we have other days of the week that are field work. We just take a boat or a bus and go to the other part of the island or to another island and explore the nature with the professor, right? And in those days, the whole day is dedicated to field work, even though you have some free time to go to the beach or to do other things, but like it's a class, hands-on class, okay? Usually you will bring your lunch from home because we tend to eat outside somewhere in the nature, okay? So this is a program if you like nature, okay, as you will see. And then the evening is a time for the homestay. The homestays will have dinner with you. Some of them will go for a walk with you. We'll organize something because it's a very important time to develop the relationship with your family. That's why we have one entire day, we call it the host family day. It's usually a Sunday, and the family wants to show you either a beach or a village or a mountain or a tradition that they do, or they bring you to their house they have on the countryside. It's a family to really immerse into the culture. As I told you, in the afternoons, we have other activities, like we go to a museum. You have here an image of the Museum of Contemporary Art. We go biking or to the aquarium or to the market and try to buy some ingredients for the dinner and things like that. Okay, here I also included some images of some of the field work. One of them is under the water and the other one is using a microscope, and I think it's Kylie actually on the image, right? It's Kylie, I think so, right? And then we have an overnight trip, and this overnight trip that we couldn't do this past summer because of COVID, but this past summer we did the same 2 days of the overnight, going back and forward to the place instead of sleeping in the woods, okay? Which is what we will do in the overnight trip. We will have water activities like the kayak that you have from these images, and also a hike and a coming back by boat. I think this is one of the stars of the coily saying yes, right? I think it's one of the most amazing days that we do in the program. Here you have, just so you have an idea that how we move around the island. No, we have number one, we go to Dragonera Island with this little boat. We go on number two to the Yevan Natural Park and explore there with a guide. We also go on number three to Albufera. This is a place for bird watching. Okay, we go and do bird watching. It's a marsh and meadow. And we also go to Cabrera, which is one of the stars of the program as well, to the National Park of Cabrera, and the number 4. And I'm almost done with my presentation, and I couldn't skip this part because I think for me, it's one of the most important things of the program, which is the homestays. Okay, these are pictures from the homestay day. They send us pictures of what the students did during that day, and I just collected a few of them. No? The homestays during we did it on a Sunday because Sunday is a typical day to spend time with your family. So we thought it was ideal to have a whole day with the homestay. And with the homestay, you will have all your meals are included. They have Wi-Fi, and you are a member of the family. Basically, you just one more of the family. Some of the families have kids, some of them don't. That's why I want to have some diversity here. For example, one of the top families, Marisa, is an only lady, and she had 2 students living with her, and I think they had an amazing experience. Okay, so I mean, sometimes you will have younger people in the house, sometimes you won't, but the whole experience is always amazing because these are families that are so excited to have somebody international in their home. And just so you know, we will just follow the regulations that we have at that moment. We don't know yet what will happen for the summer, but this is what we had last summer, and we will be updating this information. Okay, so this is time for questions. I didn't want to go too long, but I just wanted to share a little bit my enthusiasm for the program, which I think is quite evident, and to leave some time for questions. Okay. I want to open the chat. I don't know if any of you, I don't think anybody wrote anything yet. Don't be shy. If you have questions, just ask, because you have today I think the great opportunity to have 2 alumni who were here in Palma, who are Corey and Kylie. And I would like to unmute Corey, if maybe he can, I don't know how is it for you now, Corey? Can you unmute? You should unmute because I already unmute you.
Yep.
Okay, well, is it okay now? You think you can introduce yourself, Corey?
Yeah, things are better now.
Okay.
All right, so going back to introducing myself, I'm Corey. I'm a senior in high school, and I'm from New York. So, going to Palma, that was. Should we answer the question first, or should I continue with the
You can continue, then we will answer the questions.
All right. So as I said before, going to Palma was like my real first experience going out of the country. I was like, of course, like I was initially very, very, I guess, intimidated by that sort of experience, but I did immediately come to love the program. I think my favorite part of it was definitely the homestays. So how the homestays work is that I had a host mom, her daughter, and then I had a roommate who was another person on the program. And my roommate, we got along really well. We had a lot of the same interests, all that sort of thing. And, we literally still talk to this day. I actually ended up hanging out with him a couple of weeks ago. So it's really cool. Yeah. And then and I do also talk to my homestay mom from time to time. It's just a very, very very, very heartwarming experience. Spending time with them all the time and doing all these activities. And you are given a schedule for the program, and but at the same time it feels so immersive that it never really gets old. Throughout the course of a week, you had various things, you go to classes or you go to the excursions, and it just never really felt old at all, and every day felt new, and you learn something new every day. And you also did get free time, like to sort of like roam around the city, I found that to be like a very, very like cool part of the experience, of course. Like as Kylie said before, like you get to meet so many different people like across the country. Like as she said, like you find people from like Texas, California, Colorado, like all these different states and all these different people who have such like distinct experiences. It was really cool to like see like all these different perspectives, and we all sort of came together and like yeah, I'm still friends with a lot of them today. Like I have so much to talk about, and yeah, free to answer questions that
Muy bien. Thank you, Corey. Thank you so much. Let me see what are some of the questions that we have already here. One, Kathy asked a question, and it's about the age of your son, who is 14. We have 14-year-old students in the program. What is the average? We have a little bit of it. We have a few students from 14, 15, 16, 17, and even some 18-year-old students. I would say it's like a pyramid from my experience. Usually we have less 14, less 18, and a few more 15, 16, 17. Okay, so that's the average that we have in the program. So most likely your son will have somebody else of his own age. That's what I wanted to say. I'm here representing my sons. This is Amy. Hi, Amy. Nice to meet you. I mean, you can also unmute yourself if you want to make a question, but I see here the question is, I'm here representing my sons who are in school. They are curious to know how they will do things like laundry. Also, will homestay families speak English? Okay, good, 2 questions. Okay, first one, the homestays do the laundry. Okay, and we ask the families to kind of like to organize themselves with the kids and explain what are the rules of the laundry of the homestay, which usually will be twice a week. This day we do colors, this day we do whites. And so as you do it at your home, most likely, and that's not an issue ever. I mean, it's super easy to manage, I think. And then also they're asking if the homestay will speak English. We have some homestays who speak English and some homestays who don't. So what I do when I do the matching is take that into account. I take into account which kids do not speak anything at all, or which homestays are really eager to have somebody who speaks only English because they have kids who want to practice English, which homestays do not speak English at all, and then they will prefer to have either a bilingual kid, which we always have, or students who have a higher level of Spanish and they prefer to practice. So I take that into account. It's very important to include that information in the homestay form that you will have later. Okay. And then if I don't answer anything, then just let me know. Okay. Will the homestay families accommodate dietary restrictions, mainly gluten-free diet? I am celiac. Who is this? Kathy? Okay. I am celiac, so I am very, very aware of this thing. And is this because your 14-year-old son is celiac?
No, he's not celiac, but it just it's a gluten sensitivity, so it's not a big allergy. It's just that he's been following that diet, so that's all.
Okay, so it's much easier than my case,
yeah.
which for me is like cross-contamination. That's not a problem at all. We have a few families who are very much into gluten-free diet, or some of them are vegetarian. I mean, so we don't have issues with finding a homestay who will adapt the diet for the kid. Even with allergies I have very few, but a few families who are very, very good at controlling severe allergies like walnuts and things like that. So even that, I have it in my like the special homestays, okay? Because this is a very difficult thing to take care of. So you really need to know how to do it. And then I also have 2 nutritionists within the homestays who usually also will take students who have dietary restrictions. So no problem with that. What is your child is fluent? What happens during the language classes? Okay. We had some bilingual students last summer and they still joined the class. And what they did is they participated in the class. It's a fun, I mean, the language classes are very few. We just have 2 classes per week. In total, we have a total of 8 hours during the whole summer session. So they're very fun and interactive. So what we do is we have students who are bilingual or very fluent in Spanish. They will be in the advanced one because we have 2 levels. And they will be also supporting and participating and talking. So it's fun anyway, because it's not a language class where they take notes. It's talking and discussing and sharing cultural experiences. So it's not only language, but it's also culture, because we share a little bit the experience with the homestay by using the language. Then the other question is, I am a mom of a 16-year-old. How long is the program? The program is 3 weeks. We have 2 sessions, one in June and one in July, and there are 3 weeks, the 2 programs, okay? And the dates are set. They are on the website. I don't know, maybe Melissa can help me and copy them on the chat because I don't have them with me right now, and I think it will be easier if she supports me with this, okay?
Yeah.
But the dates are.
I'll put the dates in the chat.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. And also, when you ask me about the language, sorry, this program is in English because the biology class is taught in English. So it's just the language class that is an introduction to the language. Basically, it's a survival for beginners or for intermediate advanced, okay? Corey, okay, thank you, Corey. Okay, wonderful, thank you. How many kids will be in each group? Maybe Corey or Kylie can respond to this, because I think it's going to be more or less next summer the same. Corey, Kylie, do you want to answer about how many kids were in your group, for example?
All right. Kylie and I were in different groups. So me personally, like, I have little to no Spanish speaking ability. So I was placed in the group who was like obviously like learning Spanish. My group was about 10 people, and I think Kylie can speak for her own group.
Yeah, so hi. I think my group also had, I think around, was it like 15 students? I can't remember, around that number. I was in the advanced, I guess the group, because I'm bilingual, so speaking Spanish wasn't that difficult for me. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Kylie, can you explain a little bit how was your experience being a bilingual in the program and in those language classes and all that? How did it work?
Yes, definitely. So it was, honestly, the language barrier wasn't that hard. My homestay, she spoke little to no English basically. So it was really good for me because I'm like a little rusty on my Spanish, so it helped me like speak more Spanish. And the classes aren't that, the teacher doesn't give like assignments or grades or anything. She's just teaching you like I guess she starts with the basics and then she starts giving you more and more activities. But that's basically it. Like Antonia said, it's mostly for like surviving skills. So like how do you say like when we go to for one activity, we go to like the market and you have to like buy something and she wants you to say like I want to buy this in Spanish, or how much does it cost, and like things to pay attention to, like signs, and like asking for directions or anything like that when you're like exploring Palma by yourself. So that's it.
I'm sure in the end you help the other students to learn Spanish as well. So when Corey and Kylie described they were in the separate groups, it's because of COVID. We actually separated the group in 2, okay? And we had separated it because of using the language level. So we had a smaller and a bigger group. One was more in English and another one had a higher skills in Spanish. And in total, we had 24 students, so 10 and 14, as Kylie said, okay? And that's the average of our program, is between 20 and 30 students. That's the number of our students in the program. I have to say as well that we have our program leaders are assigned a group of 10. So what we do in last summer, we had 3 program leaders because we have 24 students. So in a way, one of the biggest group was divided again in 2, okay? And so we try to make smaller groups for the cultural activities, for the field work, and so students are with their program leader in the smaller groups, okay? Are participants always staying in pairs? No. We have just a few homestays who can have who have 2 bedrooms and they can have 2 students. I don't know if that's the question, Senka. If you are talking about the homestays, but then if you are asking about when they have free time, we actually ask the students always have to be with somebody. They cannot be alone. So if a student is doing an activity during the free time, we are always asking that they do it in groups or in pairs, 3 students, and we do checkouts of the students. But if you're asking about the homestays, we have a few homestays who can have 2 students because they have 2 bedrooms, but it's not that common. So no, some of them are alone in the home, okay? But again, I also take into account if, for example, I see one student has a very low level of Spanish and the other one has a little bit higher level of Spanish, I might pair these 2 students so one of them helps the other. Kylie, I believe there were around 20 something of us still in the trip. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, wonderful. Yes, very good. Thank you, Corey. Yeah, because you will be able to fill this information about dietary restrictions, allergies, and anything, okay? That's a very important document for me to use in order to do the homestay pairing.
Antonio, someone is asking about if we could talk a little bit more about the field work and what that entails. I don't know if you want to address that, or Corey or Kylie want to talk about some of the field work you did.
Corey, Kylie, you want to talk a little bit about that, one example of some of the field work that we do? For example, the day that we went with the biking along the coast and we stopped at the lab and then we did some exploration of the coast. Do you remember this one that we went to Escarnate with the biking? Could you describe a little bit what we did that day, for example?
Does Corey want to go first? I wasn't sure if he wanted to go first.
I did type a response in chat.
Oh,
However,
cool.
like field work, like students generally, it consisted of like us attendees. Like we go to like a beach or a natural park somewhere around the island, and then we would do things like species checks or like general observations of these like various natural environments. And then generally the classes after those excursions would generally like be very, very contextualized towards that, like what we observed there.
Okay, thank you, Corey. Kylie, do you want to share something?
For sure. So most of the fieldwork that we do, from what I remember, for what we had to do is like snorkeling. I had never done snorkeling, so it was really fun. The first time I did though wasn't that good because I got stung by a jellyfish, but that was on me because I didn't see where I was swimming. But other than that, it's really fun. You get to see like what's underwater. It was really cool for me. And then back to the day Antonia was talking about that day. We went to like it was a natural park, I think. And because I don't know how to ride a bike, I had to take the bus with some other students. So we took the bus and we met the other students who actually went biking. We all met like at the same time. We got there at the same time. And from there, we went into like this marine biology building, I believe, and we got to look at some other species that they have. Basically, all the species there are like preserved and dead, but they're preserved, so you get to see what they're like. And then from there, like Antonia, no, it wasn't. It was Bea, which is our like marine biology instructor. She was explaining to us like what some of the species are and like their names, and it was really cool. And then after that, I believe we went into like the lab, the lab, and that's where we got to look under microscopes. And that day, the people there that actually worked there, they went to go to the beach to collect some samples for us, so like bacteria, water, sand, and some other stuff. And yeah, that day was really cool. Yeah, most of the field work that we do requires that we like do snorkeling, or whenever Bea wants us to do another excursions, what she'll do is she'll make us, because we were in groups, she'll make us go into our group, and then we look at the species that are underwater that she's collected, and she'll like explain what the name is, where they can be found, and other stuff like that. It's really cool.
Thank you, Kylie. We take advantage of going to national parks, and we have somebody to guide us and explain what are the measures of the protection of the park. So we do, some part is environmental, some part is marine biology, recognition of a species. The students have to do a final project, and they present it in groups. And it's, I think it's one of the nicest parts of some of the program, to see the presentation they do by the end, no, of the program, and sharing all what they have learned. We also do beach cleaning one day, and we do it scientifically, in the sense of like dividing the territory, analyzing the plastics that we find, and so the professor explains all this, and we go to a natural beach. And we get permission from the biologist of the area to visit this beach and clean it, okay? So these are some of the things that we do, okay? When is deadline for flight? You're asking me the deadline for flight? Melissa, I think, is asking me about...
Yeah, well, I think that this may be the free flight. So if students apply,
Okay.
complete both their application and their scholarship application before December 1st, they'll be entered to win a drawing for a free flight.
Yes.
And the regular application deadline is January 14th.
Yes, and also about the flight, I mean, you will have the opportunity to either buy your own flight or be part of a chaperone group that flies together to Palma, okay? You seen the slide? I had this for the end, so you have here two possibilities. One is the December 1st, as Melissa said, and the other one is asking also a friend at your school, an alum from CIE, to give you the referral link, and you will be able to have also savings there. What else? Let me see if I have more questions. Okay, you already copied that. Thank you, Melissa. And we had this question about the flights, Amy. Okay, so yes, you have the two options, and this is done usually, I think, in the end of January, right, Melissa? The end of January is when more or less we start with the flight. February, that's when we start the flights arranging.
Yes, so we usually start having students book flights sometime. It will probably be more like mid-March.
Okay.
You know, we'll have some time to review applications after the January 14th deadline. Then students will have a couple of weeks to decide if they want to accept their scholarship and go on the program. And then we'll start with all the pre-departure tasks, like booking flights and homestay questionnaires and all that sort of thing.
Thank you. A little bit about the field work. I think where we talk a little bit about it. We also go to the aquarium one day, and we do again species recognition. we take into account that we have a very diverse group of students. So we have students who might have a little bit of knowledge of biology, but some students who have no knowledge at all. So the professor always starts from zero, an introduction, and then from there starts like piling and kind of like building up more information on environmental studies and biology, okay? So she has to take into account the two levels that we have in the program, or the multiple levels that we have. Let me see which other questions we have. Yes, I share the Instagram. I'm going to share it here again. Okay, it's at CIE Palma. We have here the experience from last summer. And okay, somebody already shared. I think Melissa shared that.
Yeah, there were some questions, Antonia, about like, will students be met at the airport?
Okay, yes. We do a pickup at the airport. Actually, the whole day we are managing arrivals, and our homestays pick up the students at the airport. We started doing this last summer. In the past, we were taking all the students together to Palma, and then from there, we had the homestays pick up. But this last summer, we did it this way because of COVID, and actually was really, really nice. So I think we're going to keep doing it. The homestays come there, and we actually are there and introducing homestays to students. I think I didn't include any of the pictures of the arrival moment, but we also have a beautiful moment of like introductions, no? The homestays with the kids, and then the homestay will go back home with the kids. And then next morning, the homestay will bring the student to the meeting point where we start the activity of the next day, which is the orientation. Okay, and then from there, we go to the university and we start orientation, and the week starts. And then from there, we are kind of like hand-holding a lot until the student is very familiar with the city, going back home, coming back, and all that. I don't know if Corey or Kylie want to share anything about their experience with their homestay now that we are talking about the homestays. I don't know if Kylie or Corey want to share anything.
Yeah, Corey had to go.
Okay.
Maybe Kylie can talk about it.
So for my homestay, I really loved my host mom. She was really awesome. I only had a host mom, and I had like two older host sisters. They were in their 20s. Yeah, they were in their 20s. Where I was staying was also really convenient. It was like a 5-minute walk from the university, because it's like literally on the same street. You just have to cross the road. And then normally where we meet, for me, it was like 10 minutes away, because you have to like go up the little hill. But other than that, where I was staying was really convenient. My host mom was really awesome. I really did love her. I'm still talking to her, actually. We just talked like, I think this past Sunday. And the host family is basically there for you, like in whatever way you need. They're there to make your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. Of course, over there, dinner is at a much later time, so you'll get adjusted to that eventually. But other than that, yeah, your host family is there for you in whatever way you need. They really want to make you feel comfortable and like welcomed. And they especially do that through like the host family day. So that day is also really cool. But yes, that's all I have to say for my host.
Thank you, Kylie. You were with Maribel, right?
Yes, I was with Maribel.
Okay. I think I have, is it common for families to join their children at the end of the experience? We do not have many homestays, many families doing it, but we have had a few in the past that they will come and pick up their children. You know, not many, I would say an average of 2 or 3 the most we have had doing it, but it has happened. And we have organized that the departure is with the homestays, with the group, so it is possible. Melissa shared the website. Sorry.
Yeah, someone also asked if we recommend the chaperone flight or the independent flight. I'll just jump in here. That's really your decision, excuse me, and your students' comfort level with whether they fly alone or with the group. we offer the group flights from gateway cities. So it will depend on where the group of students all are from all over the United States. But last year we had a group flight from Chicago, and sometimes we'll add a second one from like Boston or New York, one of the greater New York area airports. So your student would have to get to that gateway airport, but then there'll be a program leader or a staff person on the flight with them, and quite a few of the students. But it's not a requirement that you fly with the group. It's just a benefit if it will make you feel more comfortable.
Okay, and then I have this question: will students be met at airport departing in Spain? I suppose it's talking about the departure, Melissa, right? We organize the departure as well. Some of them are still, again, chaperoned back to the US, and some students, we just take them to the airport if they are flying on their own. And no student is left alone going to the airport. We take all the students to the airport on the departure day. That is the question, I'm not sure. Due to scheduling conflicts. Oh, okay, this is Corey that had to leave. And as I explained, homestay, it can be either one or two students at the same homestay. We have had cases of students who were sisters requesting to live together and even share the same bedroom, and we did this exception for them, but typically the students will have their own bedroom. What happens if the student is sick? How is that taken care of? All our students, as you know, are covered by an insurance, and we use, depending on the severity of the illness, I mean, if the student has a cold or stomachache or something simple, we have a medical center around the corner, literally 2 minutes away from our building. So we just will take the student to this doctor. It's a doctor that speaks English, knows CIE, knows our students, and it dedicates a lot of time to talk to them to see how they are doing, what is it that they have. So this is what we will be doing. If it was a little bit something that required a little bit more or a specialization or something more severe, that we hope not, we have a hospital again around the corner. We are super centric. It's about, I would say, 5 minutes. It's right where Kylie lives, very near Kylie, right? Where she lives. Is the main private hospital in Palma, the most important one, the one that we will always recommend to go anyway. So we will go there, and we always go with the student. And then we will inform you, keep you updated on what is going on, what is happening to parents, evidently, not only to the students, but we will be updating you and in contact with you regarding the health of your kid. Is a passport the only required documentation to enter the country? Yes, because from a person coming from the US, you can come to Schengen countries, which is Spain and Europe, for 90 days without a visa. You don't need a visa in order to come as a tourist. So our students, since they are coming under 90 days, they don't need to require a visa. And then COVID testing, we will see, because things are changing constantly. So I would not be able to tell you right now how it's going to be next summer. Okay. I wish I knew. I think I will win millions if I knew, right? But it might be that is needed by then, or it might be that is not. We will see. For vaccinated students, as you know, we require students and homestays to be vaccinated, and all the staff is vaccinated and professors. So we are kind of like creating our own bubble in a way of students, homestays, and everybody around us vaccinated, because we believe this is what we need to do, and basically the most important thing that we can do for the safety of the kids and everybody. So but we will let you know closer to the time what are the things that the kids need to do, if it is enough to come with vaccination, with the vaccination card, which most likely will be the case coming from the US, but we don't know yet. So how many, maybe you can raise your hand, how many of you is the first time? How many of you is the first time going abroad for you, for the kids? For Kathy, you're the first one, the first time. Maybe you can either, Kathy, you raised your hand. Anybody else? The first time? You know that you can raise your hand. Or you can let me know in the chat. For to the dorsal twins.
It looks like we have a nice mix of seasoned travelers and some first-time international travelers, which is always fun. Yeah.
Amy, you have your two children are traveling?
Yes, yeah. I have twin 16-year-old boys.
Okay, we are going to specialize on that. Last summer we had two twins coming to the program, and it was really nice. And we placed them with the same homestay because one of them actually, for health reasons, she needed to be with her sister, and we did that. And we can do the opposite if you prefer. So that's something for you to let us know when we start with the housing, if they prefer to be kind of away or they really need to be together, which is very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, their preference would be to be together, and they're good at building relationships separate from each other too. But they've never traveled abroad before, and they definitely are excited to come, and they would definitely like to be placed in the same home.
Okay, wonderful. And also for walking back home, if they haven't never done it. I mean, if it was my child, I would prefer that as well. So yeah, that's very nice.
Thank you.
Do you expect, this is Laura asking, do you expect that all of the regular activities will take place, or will some of the program be limited this year because of COVID? I don't think it can be more limited than last year, and last year we did, Kylie can correct me if wrong, but we did everything with masks and with lots of safety protocols. Let me explain a few of the protocols. For example, our classrooms are inside the university. They have CO control. I don't know how you say that in English.
The airflow controls.
Airflow control that lets you know, Kylie knows we had to have class with the windows open. and every time we close, that thing will let us know we have to open again, and with masks, and then in the buses again with masks, but then on the exterior, we could be without masks. And the lucky part of our program is that it's a very outdoors program. And because of that, we were able to spend most of the time outside without masks, because we had field work, activities outside, and what we avoid the most was activities that were inside. For example, I remember in the past we had an activity that was like learning to dance the traditional dance, and this was inside of a classroom that we thought it was a little bit small for COVID. So we just changed that and did an outside activity. But the field work, we do it the same because there are no limitations for that. It's just outside all the time. Classroom, the university has this control of the air quality. And transportation, we always wear masks. So, and last year it was like I would say the most extreme moment because it was the beginning where study abroad programs started, so all the regulations were like stricter, and we still were able to do the program anyway. So, and it worked. I mean, Kylie can share with us how it felt that.
Yes, so we still had a lot of fun with COVID. Whenever we were inside buildings, we were required to wear masks, of course, but like outside, most of the time we didn't have masks on. It wasn't until our last week where I think one of the regulations was that we did have to start wearing masks outside. And so we just adjusted with that, and that was pretty simple. But yeah, we still had a lot of fun with, the restrictions weren't even that bad. So yes, but one thing that did change, not really changed, at that time we had to get tested for COVID to come back to the US. And so what CIE did was that they had someone at the university come to do our tests, and they did rapid testing. So they got the results in like 2 to 4 hours back, and everyone came out negative. So everyone was allowed to fly back to the US. And it's that simple. Students at that time were also given the option of whether they were vaccinated or not vaccinated. And if they were vaccinated, they didn't have to get tested every week. I think that's what they did. Yeah. But the students who weren't vaccinated, they had to get tested. Who pays for the test? The last test to come back to the US, that one was charged. It goes to the parent, and the parent just has to pay the fee, and it's that simple. But the ones for the students, who weren't vaccinated, I don't remember if they had to pay. I was vaccinated, so I didn't have to pay for those.
Okay. Thank you, Kylie. I didn't remember about how we organized the nurse coming to the university to do the testing for the whole group. It's true. And one thing that is stricter in Spain than in the US is the interiors. In the interiors, we have to wear masks by law. And at the beginning, Kylie might remember, it took us a little bit of time to get all the kids to understand and get used to wear the mask inside, because some of them were not used to do that, right, Kylie? And at the beginning, we were like, put the mask on, because for us, it was like, it's mandatory by law inside the university, inside public transportation, commercial shopping centers, everything, even to today now. So it's mandatory, we have to by law. And you can be fined if you don't do it. So it's very important. I think Kathy has a question, or that's raising the hand from before.
That was me raising the hand from before.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you think 14 would be I'm thinking, is 14 too young, or should he wait another year? I know he's interested in the program, so I'm not sure if it's like, if 14 would be a good age, or is it, should I just wait another year or two when he's a little bit more older to join the program?
I think more your it's a
My
son
son.
or a daughter, a son.
My son.
You know more your son, no? And you know how his matureness, no, on this moment. But we have had 14 years old in the program, and not 1 or 2. We have had 4, 5. Last summer we had less, because since we had skipped one summer, we had older students who had applied for 2019, were not able to come, and they came in 2020. But for this coming summer, we are expecting to again have more diverse ages, no? More 14, 15, 16, 17. Last year, we had a few more 16, 17, 18, just because of the COVID 2019, not being able to go abroad. And they still wanted to go abroad, so they came 1 year later. So I would say that's a conversation for you to decide with your son, if how he feels about it. We have had students and we take care of them like if they were our kids. I have an 11-year-old daughter, so we like really, Kylie knows, right? And so we take care of them a lot. But again, it depends on the matureness of your son, if he's going to feel very lonely or it's going to be very difficult and he prefers to wait 1 year. So I don't know. But he will have other students in the program his age for sure, because we always have.
Thank you. But by the way, how much spending money do you recommend them bringing if they're going there?
Okay, that's a good question for Kylie, maybe. I say that they do not need to spend any money if they don't want to, okay? Basically, an ice cream every once in a while, because we invite some of the ice creams, but then some other moments we give them free time and they go and buy an ice cream or have a Coke or a glass of water, whatever they want, no? But that's their free time. So I would say a decent amount of money to have this sense of independence that you can buy something if you go out, no? I have had students who wanted to buy something, clothing in Spain, because our way of dressing is a little bit different and kind of like more fancy and modern, no? And they wanted to get something very Spanish, no? And then some presents to bring back. Maybe one day they want to bring a dessert for the homestay, but no more than that, because everything is covered, every single activity, excursion, meal. So for a student who doesn't have the money, he can also be there and no problem. We actually try to be very immersive in that sense, try to organize it in a way that a student who will not have the money to spend will not feel different or it's difficult for him to fit in, no? Kylie, can you share a little bit about that? How was it for you?
About spending money, right?
Yes.
So my parents actually gave me money. I think at the time when we did orientation, someone recommended like $25 a week. My parents gave me a little more than that, but I also had a job, so I had been saving money for my trip. But I bought like a lot of clothes and a lot of souvenirs back to my family. I'm actually wearing a shirt right now that I bought over there. But most of the like ice cream is probably like €2. I think that's like max. Most expensive is like €5, but that's if you're going to like a fancy ice cream shop. Waters are like €1, so $25 a week honestly isn't that bad. But my parents gave me more than that too. But honestly, spending it shouldn't be that big of a problem, or it's not honestly required. Like Antonia said, CIEE covers like around almost everything, so they would just need money unless they wanted to spend it on other stuff that's not like bought by CIEE or covered by CIEE. And I think another question that someone asked, sorry, I wanted to say it out loud, was what was the hardest thing you experienced? I guess it would have been just like trying to meet new people. So like before my trip, I was shy, and it helped me like get over that shyness. It was really cool too. I didn't really, not that I didn't miss my family, but I didn't really think about it all the time because I was with my host family with these other students, and it was really cool. But yeah, homesick, I don't think many of us experienced it. So that shouldn't be a problem. But yes, that's just like about it for the money. I had to get a debit card for that too, because I had euros in cash, but I also had my debit card. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Kylie. Actually, my advice is not to bring too much cash, but like to bring a debit card, because it's the best ratio of exchange. The best way to get the most of your dollars is to get it from an ATM, and we help students and during the first days to get money from the ATM. So that I will say, just bring a little bit of cash in case there is an emergency on the way. When my son went at 15 and a bit immature with special needs, he came back very secure and independent. He grew like half food. Yeah, I believe it, because I think it's a very unique experience. They have to do so many things on their own, even though we help them. They have to go back home and come to the activity, and they make friends on their own. For the first time, they are not the friends that have grown with them, but like they have to make them, you know. So I agree with you, John. It's I think they will never forget this experience, right? The friends they make here. Who is not immature at 15? Of course, you're immature at 15, but that's okay. That's why you come here to Palma, no? To grow and to learn, and live. So, any more questions? Anything that you want to ask? We have another session on Thursday, in which it will be more oriented to application and questions that you might have that I might not know all the answers, because I am more on site in Palma, and I organize more the logistics and everything that is in Palma, but the people who will be at this other meeting will be more from the logistic part of the US. So I think they might have more answers. Thank you, John. Thank you. Yeah. And also this next summer, since we will have the overnight, I think that's also a very unique experience, because we sleep in tents in a camp, and I think that also adds a growing experience as well, because it's it's a very different thing from just living in Palma, no? And you're living in the nature. I don't know if you have any more questions or you want to share anything else. I'm so thankful, Kylie, for joining us. Thank you so much, because I think it's incredible that you can. Yes, Amy, this is going to be is recorded actually. Let me ask how this can be shared. I know part of it is going to be put on the website, but I don't know the whole thing will be. I know the first part it will be, but I don't know how long it will take. Let me ask about that, because I don't know. This question. Maybe you can, if you go first, you can also ask that question. I made a note so I don't forget to ask. John, with 14-year-old son, do you have a question? Okay. Okay.
Will you be able to share your slide too?
The slideshow?
Yes,
Yeah,
I want to share. I want to share with my son and let him look into this too.
I will ask Pierre, who is the person who takes care of all these part, and see how we can manage that. Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Amy, Amy, do you have an open application? Is there a way that we can contact you?
I'll put my email in the chat box.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And John offered very kindly to talk to Kathy. I think it's Kathy who has the 14-year-old son. So
oh yes,
very nice. We are becoming a community already. Thank you, John. So nice. Okay, so I'll write your email, Amy, and I will find out about this, because I don't know how it's done with that part, to tell you the truth. Okay, I'll write. Okay, so I'm gonna write this. Okay, thank you. Anything else you wanna ask? If not, I will let you go to have lunch, or no? It's too late for lunch, right? It's not Spain. It's dinner time here. Let me see what else. Thanks. Well, thank you very much. Thank you also, Kylie, for joining us today. It was so nice to see you. I'm going to share with Hannah that I saw you today, and with the program leaders who, as you know, we keep in contact. So they will be very happy to know that. And thank you to Corey, who wasn't able to stay till the end, but as